Hey everybody, welcome to Round the Twist. This is episode 218 and it is August 26th, 2015. 4 months till Christmas? Less than 4 months till Christmas, not to set anyone in a panicked mood, but if you're Christmas knitting, now would be the time to probably start. I'm not planning on Christmas knitting this year. Everyone's getting whatever we get them. I'm not even going to try it. I might knit one person something, but yeah. Mango Island today. I had to stop and think. Sorry. So the way I do my coffee, I don't know if I've ever explained this to you guys. I have a Keurig. I have a reusable coffee filter. Well, I'm not going to grind one little coffee filter full of beans. This is whatever. So I fill my grinder full, which would be enough for like 2 full 12-cup pots normally, and just use a scoop out of that into my reusable coffee filter every day. So I ground this yesterday or the day before, and it's sitting there in its little airtight container, so don't worry. Anyone who's a coffee snob, oh my gosh, you don't grind your beans fresh every day. No, I don't. But I'm also not doing what I used to do with my big 10, 12-cup coffee pot, which was make a pot of coffee and drink like a third of it and then reheat it the next 2 days. So I was drinking 2-day-old coffee that was reheated. Yeah, I can't believe I ever did that either, but I did. So grab your beverage of choice and let's get down to it. I'm going to take one more drink and then we'll get started here. First things first, what's on the needles? I only have 2 things. Oh, shoot. You know what? I'm going to zip my hoodie up because I don't know if you can hear that. It's going to bug me. The tag on the pull tab on the zipper is jingly if I let it dangle open. So, only 2 things actively on the needles. Obviously, I still have the County Redemption sweater still sitting upstairs. I really need to bring it down here. So like tonight when I'm trying to flip my sleep schedule around, it's one of the projects that goes into my rotation while I'm binge watching my cruddy reality TV shows. God, I don't know why I watch those, but I do. So let's pull that out first. Those are in, my Nyan Cat socks are in my Stitch by Jessalou Rock, Paper, Scissors, Lizard, Spock box bag. And last week I showed you the first sock was done, but I needed the heel. Well, this week the first sock is still done, and, ooh, almost lost needles there. I picked up for the heel and removed the waste yarn, so it's ready to go. I needed to look up how to do the crystal heel again. I believe it's by, if you look it up on Ravelry, it's by, I think the lady's username is Lynn H. Also, I put it in, well, let me look and see what I put it in. Sorry. I put how I do my heel, personally, for a 72 stitch vanilla sock in my projects for my, if you look on my project page, it's under the notes for my Vanilla Again socks. So that'll have the version of the crystal heel that I do. It's a free pattern. It's available through Knitty. I think it's part, the woman who designed the crystal heel, she designed an actual pair of socks that was on Knitty a few years ago. And so it is available for free. I'm not giving away the secret sauce or anything, but that's the pattern I follow for a 72 stitch vanilla sock, how I do my heel. And I like a very deep heel because I have a very high instep. So I am only using half of the stitches. But if you actually go to the pattern, she actually tells you how to do it for a 56 stitch sock, a 64 stitch sock, a 72 stitch sock, and an 80 stitch sock. So there's my first one. I still need to weave in my top end. Gosh, what did I do this week? Holy buckets. Anyway, this is Fiber Nymph Dye Works, her Bedazzled base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, in the Nyan Cat colorway, and I got this at the first SSK, so it's 4 years old. I actually dug through my stash and pulled something out. The heel is going to be the extra skein that she sent that's kind of in navy blue. and sparkly, obviously, from that Stellina. I have started the second sock. So what happened was I had some spare time at work after my work was done. So I pulled out and picked out, did this whole bit of business with the heel. Put on my size 1 signature DPNs for the heel because that's how I like to do the heels. I think it doesn't pull at the corners as much and give me the big gaping hole when I do it that way versus magic looping. So that freed up my circular to start the ribbing for the second sock. So the ribbing is started, and just like I knew it would, I'm already at like 12 rows deep on my ribbing, which is what I normally do for ribbing because I get impatient. And sure enough, I knew this. I knew this would come back to bite me in the butt when I made the ribbing on the first sock so deep. Because I mean, I think I did like 18 rows of ribbing because I wanted to get all the way through the rainbow and then the black, navy, whatever that is at the end of the rainbow. That's supposed to signify space. And start the cuff with the pink. I knew that was going to turn around and bite me in the butt because now this second one, I've been working on this ribbing for 2 days and I have like 10 or 12 measly rows, and my head's ready to explode because I really don't want to keep going with this ribbing. I want to start the sock, but it has to match. And my little OCD brain won't let that go. So maybe while the babies are napping, I can just bust out what's left of the ribbing. Just throw something on TV, throw a podcast on, something, and get this going. But so that's on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, DPNs, and magic loop. And that's living in my Jessalou bag. One of my many Jessalou bags. I think I've got four. Got that one, I've got the Jane hat one, I've got the large cupcake and the small cupcake. I don't think I have any more than 4 Jessalou bags. If I do, oh well. They're good bags. I like her bags. So grab more coffee because it's starting to cool down. It's really, I don't know what it is. It's been beautiful out here in Colorado. We had some gorgeous, gorgeous days that were in like the high 70s, low 80s. And then yesterday, bam, 95. And everyone was complaining about the heat. And I'm going, this is great. Are you kidding me? But I still, I don't know what it is. My blood is getting thin living out here, but I am cold all the time. I've only worn shorts like twice this summer, and obviously I'm wearing a sweatshirt or a sweater every time inside the house, and even outside the house I'll take it with me because I never know when I'm going to be cold. Whatever. I'm ready for winter. I'm ready for fall. Fall and then winter, I should say. So the basement's been cold, obviously, and my coffee is cooling down really fast. I forgot how thin-walled the Jenny the Potter mugs are and how fast the coffee cools down, so I gotta drink fast if I don't want to drink it cold. Second thing that is on the needles, and this actually got quite a bit of work done on it this week. My shawl design, still as yet unnamed. This was inspired by the Shaping Shawls class that I took at SSK this year from Susan B. Anderson. And I am planning on writing the pattern up, getting it test knit, offering it for sale. I have no deadline for that, so just please be patient with me if you're looking forward to it. It will come out eventually. The yarn is hand spun that I did from Fiber Optic Yarns by Kimber Baldwin. It's an 80-20 merino silk blend. I got 520 yards of fingering weight, anywhere from light to a heavy fingering. It's hand spun. It's not going to be perfect. And I Navajo plied it, chain plied it. So I'm trying to make this so similar. I'm not trying to copy Susan B. Anderson's way at shawls because she is wonderful with that. But I'm trying to make it so you can use that special ball of hand spun or that special ball of yarn and just keep going until you run out or you're close to running out. So right now, I got to the blue. I know, I've been looking forward to this. Right now I'm debating for a name for it, calling it the progression shawl, because it is a progression in how many eyelet rows you do. So this is the whole thing. I don't know if we get the whole thing in there or not, probably not. So far, I'm hitting the point on the rows that I can't spread it out on the needle. We're actually running out of cable length, but it's close. So it's an elongated triangle, obviously, along the lines of Martina Baim's Hitchhiker, but with a straight edge on it and with an eyelet row progression. So starting at the small end, I've got 3 eyelet rows separated by a wider stripe, and then 3 close eyelet rows. 4 eyelet rows separated by a wider stripe. 4 close rows, then 5, 5 and 5. I just finished the 6 wide rows, and I've started the first close eyelet row. So I have the first eyelet row done, and I'm working my way through those. So, well, I guess I didn't get as much done as I thought, but the rows are getting longer. I did maybe 3 inches. You can see where my little stitch marker is there. That's marking my place where I was last week. So I'm going to move that up right now. And I don't know who gave me this stitch marker. Someone gave it to me. I might have gotten it during the stitch marker swap at the last sock summit, but it's this lovely little, it's like a little wire ball. But what she did, rather than putting it on like a closed jump ring, she put it on, now I know this isn't a French hook, what is that? It's an earring back. So this will be the part that you put through your ear, and then this flips up to close it. And I love this. I use this stitch marker all the time. It's not the lobster claw clasps that you sometimes see, although you could use those too. But I thought this was brilliant because you might have a bulkier yarn than a lobster clasp would fit through, but this is nice and open because it's meant to accommodate an earlobe. And it's been perfect for me to mark my right side rows. Well, I started off using it as a right side row marker because I couldn't tell when I first started. And now I'm using it just to mark so I can tell my progression from week to week, how far I've actually come. So as you can see, we're doing the Rouge Violet Cerulean colorway, which was, I think originally it was the Knit Girls colorway, but has been renamed. And we've progressed from the rouge through the violet, and we're just starting the blue, and I'm loving it. It does still, I don't know if you'll be able to see the subtleties. The very, very center of the ball is a little bit, I'd almost call it a lighter turquoise than what the outside of the ball is. But I'm going to keep going. I'm hoping to get through, well, I know that I'll get through the 6 close rows and get at least a few. I don't think I'll get 7 wide rows done, but I'll just keep going until I'm close to running out of yarn. And I really need to start writing my notes up on this pattern so I can send it to a few people to test knit for me. So I'm knitting that up. Oh gosh, what needles am I using? I'm using my signatures, but what are they? A US 5, 3.75 millimeter needle, which is good for a fingering weight yarn. I'm getting a nice fabric. It's just slightly cushy, and not too open. And I love this color. I really wish I could make everything in this progression of colors, because this whole thing is like my happy place. Just the deep, it's almost a garnet red and that amethyst purple up to the sapphire blue, that whole jewel tones. That is my happy place. And I really have to push myself to knit things outside of that, otherwise, and buy clothes even outside of that. My entire wardrobe, if I had a choice, would be this, plus maybe like a deep emerald green, along with like black and gray to wear with it to accent it, because otherwise, yeah, that just look like a crazy person wearing all these bright, bright jewel tones. So this is living in my Tangerine Designs TARDIS yarn stash bag from Casey. She does beautiful work on bags as well. If you're looking for a bag to do, let me get this back in here so we have containment, because I have puppies. Phoebe's snoring away down over here, and Daisy, the miniature schnauzer, just brought me the ball. Hang on, I'm going to throw it that way so you can see her run. This is what I deal with every time. I know I've been throwing the ball for her the last few weeks, but this is what I deal with. She brings it and sets it in front of me and stares at me. And then it's like, what? And then I look down and see the ball, and it's like, oh, okay. So that's the second thing. that's all the things that I'm knitting. Done. Thing the third, excuse me, getting a little close here because I forgot to grab this bag, is my Tara's flax sweater. It's my FO of the week. I actually finished it. It is finished, washed, blocked, ends woven in, ready to wear. I did try it on her before I washed and blocked it, just to see if it was going to be okay. And it was. It seemed a little tight, like across the chest, and also a little bit short. But when I washed it, because of the nature of the superwash yarn, I suppose I should start at the beginning. So the pattern is Flax by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. They've got everything from bitty baby sizes all the way up to full-blown adult. I can't even tell you how big the chest size goes for the adult size stuff. I knit it out of Cascade 220 Superwash in the 805 colorway. Because Cascade is so imaginative with their color naming. And I bought this at the Loopy U. And what I ended up getting was 3 skeins because I had originally intended to knit the Playful Stripes cardigan by Alana Dakos. And then I changed my mind. I decided I am planning on knitting the Playful Stripes eventually. But I want to do it so the body's in more of a neutral color because I'm going to use all of my odds and ends leftover Dream in Color Classy scraps as the striped yoke. So I wanted something that I didn't have to kind of pick and choose because this was a really difficult color. It wasn't until I got it home that I went, ooh, that does not go with very many things. So I made a solid sweater. It's a top-down raglan with this lovely garter stitch panel at the top of the sleeves, and knitted up on US 6s for the ribbing, which is a 4.0 millimeter needle, and a US 8, which is a 5.0 millimeter needle. And then, yeah, like I said, washed it. I put it in a sink full of warm water with some soak. I did have a little bit of dye runoff from this, but nothing awful. The water just turned slightly pink. I was kind of expecting it. And then I took it, put it in a couple layers of towel, rolled it up, stood on it to squish a bunch of water out, and then threw the damp towel and the sweater in the dryer. I know you're freaking out. Oh my God, you put your knits in a dryer. It's superwash. I put it in for 10 minutes because superwash will, and it did in the sink, it just grew, and I was going, oh my goodness, okay, I know my daughter's a string bean, but she's not quite that much of a string bean. So, I mean, there was a good, probably 2 more inches on the sleeves, and I went, oh no. So, threw it in the dryer, set a timer for, I forget, it was either 10 or 15 minutes, because the shortest amount of time that my dryer has on it is 20 minutes, and I didn't want it in there quite that long. But with the wet towel in there as well, I knew I could go a little bit longer than 10 minutes. If I had just put the sweater in, I would have set it for 10. So I'm pretty sure I put it in for 15. And then I felt it and might have thrown it in for a little while, a little while longer because it was still pretty sopping. And then I just pulled it out, laid it on our spare bed, and just kind of patted it into shape and let it dry, and that's where it's been sitting for the last week. So yeah, the body did grow lengthwise just a little bit. I still feel like I'm going to, with probably sometime this winter, gonna take the bind off out of the bottom. The sleeves seem to be long enough, but when I tried it on her, the body was just barely long enough. So I'll probably take out the ribbing and knit another inch or 2 just so she's got a little more length in the trunk. She's longer torsoed than I am. All my length is in my legs. A lot of hers is in her trunk, although she's got some long legs too. How much I used an entire ball and whatever I used off of this. So let's see, I've got my handy dandy scale here. Oh my gosh, it's a Blue's Clues reference. Wow. I haven't even watched Blue's Clues with the babies. So according to this, these are 100 grams, 3.5 ounces, 220 yards. So I have, what do I have it set on? I have it set on grams. I used about a ball and a half, a little over half. I have 41 grams left here. I didn't weigh the ball beforehand, so I'm not sure if I had a full 100 grams or not, but I used 59 grams if the tag is accurate. So for the size that I knit, the 2 to 4T, it calls for 440 yards. I knit it to pattern. I did not lengthen the sleeves any. I did not lengthen the body any, like I originally said I was going to. And I got it out of, we'll say, like 350 yards instead of 440, which is fine. That gives me cushion. Plus I have a whole nother ball if I do want to lengthen the body, lengthen the sleeves this coming winter, because yeah, I figured a 2 to 4T would hold them over, and yeah, this is barely fitting now, so Mama needs to knit a little faster. Started that July 16th while I was at SSK. I finished it August 20th, like finished ends woven in, wash blocked, everything August 20th. So that's everything off of my knitting needles. Next. Next thing is pokey things. Again, haven't touched my wheel. I really need to get back to that because, wow, I miss it. It's sitting right here, literally like 2 feet that way. But I just, anytime I'm down here, I'm over on the couch and the couch is too low to spin on. So I just need to take the time to sit and do that. So pokey things. I have 2 things that I worked on, obviously, because I have 2 things that are currently being worked on. The Very Merry Christmas Town, and I still have this in the hoop because I was just working on it yesterday afternoon and I thought I was going to get some more time. Normally I take it out of the hoop in between me working on it so I don't get those lovely creases all over the fabric, but I didn't because I thought I was going to be coming back downstairs. So I did a little bit more, a very little bit. You can tell what weekends I work because I don't get a whole lot of progress on stuff. So this is Very Merry Christmas Town, Clue 1. It's the current mystery stitch along by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Last week I had the store done, Santa, I had the elf's pants, I had the toys sign done. All that I managed to do this week, you can kind of see the white along the top of the store. Yeah, I did that, and the little bit of white along the bottom, which is not finished, which I'm assuming is meant to be snow. That's all I did on that one. I need to really sit down and plug away on this because Clue 1, there's supposed to be, obviously I need to finish the little windows. There's a little present, a present over here, and then finish the little pedestal that the train stands on. There's supposed to be an elf here. There's snowflakes all around, the entire roof. Finish Santa's legs and face and boots and his little toy sack that he's carrying. Because I need to get this done because Clue 2 comes out today. I haven't gotten the email yet, but it usually comes out by 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm on Mountain Time currently, so... and I'll be up all night tonight, so maybe I'll be able to finish up Clue 1 if I really buckle down and don't do anything else. We'll see. If you want to see how my back is doing, I think I'm doing pretty good keeping my back nice and neat. Obviously, I make some... When I'm doing like a big leap of stitches, like if I have to go over 8 stitches, I don't like to weave in and cut, so I'll just weave my thread underneath the backs of some stitches like I'm gonna end that section, but then I'll just go up and over, and it's just a way to anchor, basically. It's kind of how when you do color work, if you're skipping more than like 3 stitches, you want to catch your float so that it's anchored a little bit so you don't have this huge long strand of loose thread. So I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm trying to keep the back nice and neat and not have any major boo-boos or have the thread tangle and leave a big old loop loose like I had happen on January of Once Upon a Time. I don't think I showed you guys that, so I need to get going on Clue 1 because Clue 2 is coming, and that's going to be to to this side. There are 4 clues total, so Clue 2 is, I think, is over here, Clue 3 is over here, and Clue 4 is along the bottom, if I remember right. So yeah, it's coming slowly, but it's coming. And then I'm finding the white really hard to stitch on that fabric. I don't know if it's just the light or lack thereof that I have down here. My eye's getting old. That's a very distinct possibility. I really need to get into the eye doctor too, but I have a problem with the white on that, so it's a lot slower for me to stitch. Okay, second thing that I'm working on for Pokey Things is the Once Upon a Time sampler, which is still in its Q-snap frame. I haven't removed it, I've just been loosening it like I showed you last week. This is again from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was their year-long sampler that they did last year, 2014, and I got all the emails. I signed up for it initially, and I just, with moving and everything, I didn't get a chance. So I'm working on it. I got a little bit more done on April, which is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. A little bit. I think all I did was, well, her bow. Actually, I did quite a bit now that I look at it. Her bow, her dress, her shoes, the little mushroom tops, and the Z's, I think, are all that I managed to get done this week. But that was only one night of stitching and one little section of one night of stitching. So yeah, that's coming along. I'm hopeful, since I've got a few days off, a few more days off this week than I did this last week, that I'll be able to get some more stitching done on this and maybe even finish up April. My little narwhal needle minder I picked up at SSK this year from Casey from Tangerine Designs. I saw it and I had to have it. It was too cute to leave there. Alright, so that's it for my projects. Various and sundry. Before this gets too cold, I'm going to have some more coffee. Oh yeah, that's bordering on too cold. I hate cold coffee, but I don't like reheating it either, so I'm just gonna buckle down and finish this quick. That's, my grandma on my mom's side would have said, oh, that's not even pea warm. Cold coffee. I used to love cold coffee when I was little, but not anymore. So various and sundry. The work situation has changed yet again. Went in and talked to my boss yesterday to figure out, okay, so what's the deal? When am I starting this mid-shift? Hi, Daisy. You want to come up and say hi? Come on. Come here. Come on. Come on, Munchkin. Okay. Oh, we have a Daisy who is freaking out. Hi. Can you say hi? Daisy. No? Okay. I know you freak out when I hold you. So I had to come up with a schedule that would work for like 6 different people combined. So me, my husband, the other respiratory therapist that is opposite my husband, the other midshift nurse, our nanny, and the needs of the other mother that our nanny works for. Stop scratching, Phoebe. So I was affecting 6 people, and what I'd come up with, my boss didn't care for especially, so we sat down together and went through it and figured out what would work. So now, and also because of staffing needs on night shift, they're not moving me over to this mid-shift admit nurse position until the weekend after Labor Day. So I've got a couple more weeks left on nights, and then I'll be switching over to working. When we start, it's going to be noon to midnights, which is fine. Originally when they started the position, it was from 9 to 9, but then a lot of our patients were coming in later and later and later in the day, and night shift was getting slammed with them, and there wouldn't be an admit nurse there to take care of it, or they would be within an hour of leaving, and night shift would have to do the majority of it. So they switched it over to noon to midnight. Stop scratching. And we're going to see how it goes that way. Lately, our patients have been coming a lot earlier in the day. They've been doing a lot better with getting them there sooner, which helps. But it also means that our needs might shift to earlier. So we might go back to 9 to 9 or work 10 to 10, which would be even better than it is currently. So that's where we're at with the job thing. It's still kind of like up in the air, but at least I know exactly when I'm moving over. The other thing I wanted to talk about was some upcoming projects that I'm looking at. Obviously, I've made Tara a sweater. I need to make one for Gabe too. So I pulled out the yarn that I got for Gabe's. This is some more Cascade 220 Superwash, bought at the Loopy U. This is color 1951, and it is this beautiful kind of heathered blue, heathered medium blue, that actually, it matches his eyes really, really beautifully. And the jewel tones of this really bring out Tara's eyes and show off her coloring too. So I had them with me when I picked it out, so I wasn't guessing, oh, will that look good on them or not? So I'll be starting Gabe's flax very soon. I think from the beginning I'll lengthen the sleeves, lengthen the body, just because. So I've got 3 balls of that. Again, I'll probably use 1.5 to 2 to get it done. And the other thing that I've looked at, the Sugar Maple Sweater by Karina Spencer. I saw, someone at SSK had one. I think it was in the Try It On room, and I saw people trying it on. Hence the Try It On room. Duh, Karen, wow. And then I saw Natasha Tashbalaz on Ravelry. She made the trek all the way from Australia to come to SSK, so it was great to meet her. And then when she got home, she had purchased, I believe it was a gradient kit from Leading Man Fiber Arts, that they were vending at SSK, and she finished hers, and it's gorgeous, and it's so cute on her, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have this sweater. So I started looking, of course. Well, here, this is the Ravelry page for it, so you can see what this sweater is that I'm talking about, and I'm going to show you the big picture of it. So it's basically a tee with an asymmetrical front, kind of has an A-line shape to it. So the front has that point, and then the back is straight across. And the sample that they knit it out of is from Twisted Fiber Art, their Tasty Evolution, which is that automatic gradient, and then they used a solid coordinate to get the bottom. I think it was to do the bottom. Yeah, that was it. To catch the bottom so they wouldn't have to buy 2 skeins of it. Well, looking at, it's not an affordable, well, it is an affordable option. I could afford to do that, but it's kind of where you go, that's not even a full sleeved sweater, and I'm going to be paying how much for it? And I kind of had a little bit of sticker shock. So I looked over at the Leading Men Fiber Arts website, and Steve only had like 5 different gradients that were available, and some of them were kind of brown beige colors that I wasn't crazy about. There was one that was like a peach that I was like, I don't know, and then I think like a yellow to orange, which yellow just makes me look jaundiced, so let's not go there. And then there was a really beautiful, I think it was called Emerald City, so a progression of greens, which was gorgeous, and I went to put 2 of them in my cart to take advantage of the birthday sale they were having yesterday, and they only had 1 available, and I need 2. So I went, ugh! And then I was talking to Melissa from the His and Hers podcast, and she said, well, why don't you do it out of your Volmisa? You probably got plenty of colors in your Volmisa stash. And I was like, huh, I never even thought to look in my stash. Quit scratching, please. I don't know why it didn't occur to me to, hello, Karen, you have a stash of yarn back there. Go look and see if you've got something that will work, because obviously I do. So just before I sat down to record, I went and just pulled out Volmisa that I could potentially put together. I'm not sure about the 2 variegated ones, if they would work, although I have enough coordinates I could do like this one. I think this is the Dragonfly. I can't remember. I went through and figured out what all these weird different ones were years ago, and now I can't remember. Ooh, is it gonna let me peel up or is it gonna tear? Is it gonna? Ooh, yep, it tore. Okay, we're gonna leave that alone. So I have this one that's got the teal, the green, and the purple on the end, and then I've got a couple of different purples that I could pair with it on the one end. And I've got some, like this kind of variegated teal blue that I could do at the other end. That's Spina de Pesca? I suck at German. I'm sorry. I just butchered that. So I got some options. I still have my box wreath and whatever this other one is, like hollyberry, elderbush, that's it. That was from when I was in their Wollmeise club. So those I could break out. That would be another green. That would be an option. So I've got plenty of Wollmeise. I don't even know how much I would need for the sweater, but obviously not like 6 skeins. So there's options. I need to work on the county for the Redemption knit along, which is still going on. I know it seems so dead because I haven't touched my county, so I haven't mentioned it in ages. I'm at a point that it's like, oh, I have to sit down and think, so I don't touch it because it's not something I can just pick up and put down if the kids need me or something. So there you have it. That's what I'm planning on, what's coming up on my needles, and I think that's it for the week. Long show, feels long, but until next week, I think. Let me think. Yeah, I'm working Thursday and Friday, and then I'll work Monday. So yeah, I'll be off next Wednesday. Until next week, then, happy knitting.